If someone asks you who is the most famous person of the 20th century, who has been a cruel dictator, then you too have Hitler's name like most people will take. And it is also true that somehow there is no scale to measure cruelty. But still, if we consider this as standard assumption, which dictator, maybe after knowing how many people you killed, would be surprised that Stalin of the Soviet Union and the name of China's Mao Zedong would be higher than Hitler? Yes. Then how it will be decided who? Who was the most cruel dictator? Let's look at this question. Let us consider this in detail first. If we talk about Hitler, then historians, Hitler was always an exciting subject because not only was Hitler responsible for taking the lives of millions, but the method he used for his was always unique. If you think about Hitler, if read, the first thing you will notice, it is understandable that the people whom Hitler he killed, he did not kill because of any compulsion. Instead, he wanted them from his country. People should be wiped out. So Adolf was tasked with investing as soon as possible. More people could be killed, and each man after this an efficient method of using poison gas. Now if Hitler's victims talk about Jews, then first of all we should say Hitler has brought to mind about 60 lakh Jews' deaths, attributed to many people in a very short time. During such September between in the 3 months of 1942, Hitler killed more than 13 lakhs Jews. Still, Hitler's target was not only Jews. He also killed 15 lakhs Romani people. The people were those who migrated from India about 1,000 years ago to Europe. Then they established their settlements there. Apart from Jews and money, Hitler targeted communist, Fagots and Polish. Apart from this, people of Russian origin also became. Hitler was very passionate about the superiority of the German race. The campaign was therefore disabled people were also killed. The German race would not become weak now. This is how we get the total killed by Hitler. If we counted the people, it was around 1.6 crores. Hitler had killed between 2 crore people. Always highlighted this about. This was when Hitler had been in power for less than 10 years. And if the war had not ended, many people would have one of the victims of cruelty. The proof is Adolf Hitler himself, who used the technique of killing people in the chambers. During the Second World War, Hitler's biggest complaint was that its gas supply was interrupted due to war. Apart from this, he also killed those German guards. He was then being sent to fight in the war. The one who was angry in Jews' prison camps was deployed because fewer guards meant to keep them alive with more Jews, so that he could live in these camps daily. Now let's go on Joseph Stalin, who called himself Hitler and was considered the biggest enemy of the death count. If you look, you will find many similarities between them. In Stalin's story, many deaths come first extraordinarily. The person writing Stalin's biography arrives. Historian Stephen Cottle says that when Lenin died in front of Stalin, the most significant task was to sleep completely. How will he make the Union communist? I did it well in the 20s. But when Stalin and the Russian Revolution finally came true, then Stalin got him. I started feeling afraid of the people around me. He joined top military generals and political party top leaders. Most of his close ones killed his colleagues by implicating them in a false case. The world started punishing these incident people all over, also known as the Great Purge. Do you know this was the time when Hitler later attacked the Soviet Union? Stalin was not fully prepared because he trained most of the talented people of his country. Those who got the leaders killed was saved from Stalin's great persecutions. Luck was also not very good because they were sent to the gulags. Gulags were the labor camps from which today's North Korea's labor camps inspired. There are 16 people here for one meal. Someone was made to work for 18 hours. If he gets sick, he is not taken care of. There was infection, and sometimes there was infection in the entire camp. Even after spreading, people died like this. But the Great Purge is said to have taken place. There were several famines in the country in the 1930s, due to which many people only who died in the famine died of hunger. The number is said to be about 15 lakh. An exciting fact is that most of the people in it were from Ukraine. Some theories also believe that today, the areas of Ukraine which Putin belongs as Russian claims due to the speaking population. Those areas are Russian-speaking because of famine. The native Ukrainians died, and fast there was a level of depopulation. After this, a large number of people went and settled there. Suppose Stalin's death count is anything to go by. So Stalin, more than 6 crore people were responsible for the death. But if Hitler and Stalin's figures were too high, it seemed that we only needed our neighboring countries. There is also a need to look at China, where the 1949 Communist Revolution from Mao Zedong, by bringing the entire country into the communist system, made under. Some theory also believe that today, the areas of Ukraine to which Putin belongs as Russian claims due to the population. Those areas are speaking because made due to famine. The native Ukrainians died. There was a vast level of there. These main people went after the Russia. If Stalin's death counts in Russia are anything to go by, then Stalin, more than 6 crore people were responsible for the deaths. Still, if Hitler and Stalin's figures were too high, it seemed that we only needed our neighboring countries. Mao was always different from other leaders. He was seen as a hero, and many people still consider Mao a hero. Yes, this is the biggest reason behind this. Mao liberated China from Japanese invaders and played a significant role in getting it done. The communist revolution that followed also saw Mao using the guerrilla warfare technique. With only 6,000 soldiers left, he managed to take over a big country like China. After this, Mao took some revolutionary steps, such as giving all men equal rights and providing free treatment for all. These actions garnered sympathy for Mao even today. But this doesn't mean that Mao's hands are not stained with blood. Alone in China, it is estimated that 40 to 60 million people were killed under Mao's rule, with many subjected to unjust judicial systems. After the revolution, Mao's regime imprisoned and executed many disasters. Despite facing opposition, Mao continued to rule in a one-sided manner. Mao's system led to the deaths of millions, directly or indirectly. Inspired by Stalin, Mao implemented labor camps and judicial trials, resulting in approximately 25 million deaths. Mao's Great Leap Forward campaign, mimicking Soviet-style collectivization, led to famine, causing about 30 million deaths. This was followed by the Cultural Revolution, during which Mao attempted to indoctrinate Chinese society with communist ideology. Approximately 20 million people died during this period due to various reasons. In total, Mao's rule resulted in the deaths of over 80 million people, making him one of history's deadliest rulers. While Hitler targeted specific enemies, Stalin and Mao's policies led to massive casualties among their people. Whether this makes them more or less cruel than Hitler is subjective. It is up to individuals to decide. However, Mao's economic policies and authoritarian rule caused immense suffering. Would Hitler have attacked his own country or ruled for decades like Stalin and Mao? Speculating on hypothetical scenarios can be difficult, but considering Hitler's authoritarian tendencies, it's possible that if he had ruled longer, the death toll could have been even higher. Feel free to share your opinions in the comments. If you found this video informative, remember to subscribe and share it with others. Thank you for watching.